Kyle and I agreed last night that we're going to hire Sean Bevan to mix the new batch of Mona Lisa Overdrive songs.
Oh, awesome.
Instead of me doing it. And so we're going to take Chosen One and we're going to re-record it.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's going to be sick.
Yeah, we're going to re-record it with updated sounds and just a new flavor to it. It'll be the same, the same tempo and the same song and the same melody and the same main, cool parts, but it'll just be an updated version with what we have now. And I'll have Sean Bevan mix it. And then we're also going to have him update and mix Living Without You and
yes
and Standing in the Rain and Nothing to Lose. And we'll probably put new heavier guitars on those songs. And we're just going to have them all mixed by him so they all sound new with all the new songs that we have. So moving forward, we're just going to come up with the money to pay him to mix our songs so they all kind of sound like what music would be sounding like now,
Yeah.
By replacing some of the guitar sounds and then having them all mixed by the same guy who has his own style, and just tell him, our goal is to take all these songs from the different years and just kind of make them sound modern and cohesive with each other, and we'll do them all as like singles, and eventually they could be on a compilation that would be a record. But because it's going to cost us a little bit of money to pay him to do that rather than me doing everything myself, it'll be worth it, but we won't be able to just plop down the money to have them all done at one time. So we'll do, one or two at a time.
Wait. So what does it mean by you're saying you're gonna modernize the songs? So does that mean
we'll give him the whole tracks of the whole recording, and then maybe let's say the kick drum and snare drum sound maybe updated, or just the way that he blends the sounds together. All the guitars will be what they are now, but maybe they'll sound more matching from song to song, which is not really that much of a big deal, because since we are kind of industrial influenced, we don't actually really have to sound like a band where every song sounds exactly the same and every song has the same kick drum sound or anything like that. But we do want them all to sound kind of updated and sort of somewhat matching. And that'll just happen automatically if we just pay Sean Bevan to mix them all, because he'll just mix them in his style. The only thing possibly happening is me and Kyle covering a Sins of a Divine Mother song.
It has to be ticked. It has to.
That one, I mean, we could do it. It would be a more band sounding version of it. We could do it the same, but all the crazy production, I've lost all that stuff, and we would just do the song as a modern cover of it,
Sins is such a great band. It's one of my favorites.
But there would be less complicated background programming on it. It would be more in your face, just straight version of the song. But I still think it would be cool, and I would love to do that song as a part of a Mona Lisa Overdrive set, because I like performing that song, and I also wrote some of the lyrics on that song.
I mean, Sins is just the big brother to Mona Lisa Overdrive anyway. Mona Lisa Overdrive is the successor to Sins.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, because...
Speaking of redoing songs, you ever consider doing redoing Overshadowed? Because that's my favorite song.
I mean, I like that song. I would do it if Kyle wants to do it. And also, our guitar player who is on, his name's Shane Fritz, and he has a band right now called Black Jacket, which is a heavy band. That's on Spotify, relatively new, and one of his songs is is called he just told me last night to go check it out. Oh, it's called So Many Devils. So Many Devils by Black Jacket. That song the music was written by Shane Fritz, who's the guitar player, supposed to be our live guitar player for Mona Lisa Overdrive, and he played guitar on our song New World that never got finished.
New World.
Yeah, and he played, some of the guitar parts on that. And when we were in 2012, we were about ready to start doing live shows. We had been rehearsing for 3 months, so he was in the band, and we had a drummer, Nico Villalobos, and we had a bass player, Scott Christ, and all those guys are very, very cool, and they all can write music. But what's interesting is the music that Shane writes with Black Jacket also sounds a lot like Sins of a Divine Mother, which is why he was in our band in the first place, because he was one of the only guitar players I've ever met in my entire life who, like Wiley, will blend melodic, atmospheric, interesting sounding guitar stuff that maybe is influenced by the same bands, because I think Shane probably listened to a lot of the same music that Wiley listened to and had a 80s new wave influence in his listening, the same way that Orgy had. And Shane Fritz was friends with the Orgy guys. So it was like guys in that scene at the time, who grew up around Orgy with the 80s new wave influence and what was going on with bands like what's that? The band with Chino, who's the singer.
Deftones.
Wiley was really into the Deftones, and that was also, and the Deftone guys, and even bands like Fear Factory did.
Fear Factory, yes.
We were all friends with those guys, and in fact, when Mona Lisa Overdrive was rehearsing in 2012 to do our first show, Fear Factory was 2 doors down from us, and he would come by and just tell us how awesome we were, and we were sharing our Wi-Fi with them. So we were sharing Wi-Fi with Fear Factory at our rehearsal room in 2012, and then also right down the hallway was Chino's side project, Crosses.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, this whole thing, it's all just kind of like mixed together, and Shane Fritz was the guitar player that we got to be in the band, and he just had the same mentality as Wiley. So to be able to get someone who thinks like that, who makes music like that, and you can listen to Black Jacket, his new band, where he largely wrote most of the music, and you can hear that even though he never had anything to do with Mona Lisa Overdrive, he never had anything to do with Sins of Divine Mother, his style of how he does shit is very similar, because he was into the same exact music and grew up in the same scene that Wiley did. And so you can tell why we even wanted him in the band in the first place. Because a couple of those Black Jacket songs, I mean, some of the riffs and everything, it sounds exactly like Sins of a Divine Mother, honestly. But their singer's more like, more like every other modern rock man that's out now, I guess.
You gotta be different, man. You gotta be standing out from the crowd.
Yeah, that's the only problem with Black Jacket is that when you listen to it, it sounds like every other heavy rock band that's out right now. They have all the same guitar sounds, all the same drum sample programming. Nothing ever sounds different than anyone else. You could just like close your eyes and hear 10 different bands, and they all sound like 90% the same.
Yeah, and that's why I have a problem with like modern metal, because
they all sing this, just a slightly different voice, but they're all singing the exact same type of melodies. All their songs are in the exact same keys. They have the exact same drum samples on every song that every band's using. The production style is identical from one producer to the next. You can't even tell the difference between the producers. So they all sound exactly the same.
yeah,
Usually you could come up with something really good and that's where most people stop. Oh, like this is good. sounds like another band, but then good isn't good enough. It's like good, but have you heard it 1,000 times before? Is it giving you chills? You know, and unless it can raise my hair when I listen to the final version of it, it has to raise the hair on my arms. If it doesn't give me a chill listening to it as like a fan, stepping outside of being the person doing it, then it's not good enough. So then I allow myself to say, okay, you can do better. You can do something that will raise your own hair, and hopefully, if it does that for you, then people listening to it will feel the same. That's our goal. It's like Kyle and I won't ever call something done until it raises the hair on both of our arms. And if I can get it to do it on my arms and on his arms, that's a hard thing because he's a picky guy in a slightly different way than I am. If I can get him to be happy with it and me to be happy, there's never anybody who's not happy with it.
So Daniel, by the way, what was it like to work with Sins of a Divine Mother?
Well, I pretty much worked exclusively with Wiley himself, because at the time he was working with the drummer John Magnus, who at the time was also working with Crazy Town, and he was also involved with the Linkin Park guys.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was like a guy who like programmed drums and programmed just synthetic music, and he was in that little scene working with those kind of bands. And they were working with Orgy as well. And Wiley was
Static Punk
ghostwriter for Orgy, because he didn't want credit, but he was friends with Jay, and so he was in the studio sort of behind the scenes when the other guys from Orgy weren't there, working with Jay, coming up with parts and singing some of the background vocals and stuff, which he doesn't get credited for on any of the records. But there's some stuff where he played guitar or came up with the guitar parts and sang background vocals. He didn't get any credit, and none of those guys got any credit until after Orgy broke up, and that first record, Punk Static Paranoia, that Jay did after the band broke up. That record was done with John Magnus, the drummer and original producer and programmer for Sins of a Divine Mother, who would have been the drummer if we had ever played live shows. But Wiley wanted to do some new songs, a new demo, after he got Kyle in the band as the bass player. And they had done a couple of rehearsals, actually at Orgy's rehearsal room, by the way, at the time. Jay let them rehearse there, but I wasn't involved in that. And Kyle suggested to Wiley that they bring me in as a producer and engineer on recording a new demo, and coming up with the idea of like creating music that was a little bit less long form, because if you listen to the Sins of the Divine Mother stuff before Kyle and I were involved, the songs have really long arrangements that go from section to section, which are really fucking cool because they're like cool album tracks, but they weren't consolidated into like a radio hit format. All their songs had really long intros that would never be played on the radio at the time, because you can't have a minute and a half intro before the vocals even start happening, and but it makes it incredibly cool, which is why their older stuff is a really cool combination. The way that the drummer's son released it on Spotify, he's got their old demos with the 3 or 4 songs that I produced with Kyle, where we influenced them to put their songs into a more radio format, where they weren't, super long and stuff like that. So that's where the idea of Broken, like even before I was in the band, Wiley wrote Broken, but he wrote it on the suggestion of me and Kyle, saying, hey, you guys need to like do some songs that don't have these massively long arrangements. You need something for the radio, something where people, if you want a record deal, you're going to have some songs that, are commercial, not just cool.
Yeah.
And so he wrote Broken, and And that 4-song demo that me and Kyle were involved with, he wrote all those 4 songs based on the ideas and premises of my influence, that they, arrange their music differently. I can tell you, working with Wiley changed everything about how I play every instrument that I play, and it changed everything about how I produce music. I basically got some of his mental DNA from working with him for so long.
So would you say he's like a big inspiration? Do you think he's a really good musician?
Yeah, he's one of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life. He's insanely good. I've never met anybody as good as him. Because when I say good, it's because he wasn't only just like really fast, because he was a huge fan of Dave Mustaine, guitar playing, but he's also extremely original because he's into atmospheric music and very melodic stuff, but the juxtaposition of twisted, bizarre chord stuff and really beautiful chord stuff.
How did you get the opportunity to do that song for Shadow the Hedgehog, by the way?
I think that was because Jun Sunyu was a Bang Tango fan.
From Jun Sunyu from Crush 40?
Yeah, I think he was a Bang Tango fan, so he contacted Kyle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kyle's the guitarist of Mona Lisa Overdrive and the bassist for Sins of a Divine Mother, if I remember right.
Yeah.
All right.
How did you come up with Odyssey as your stage name?
Dang, I don't know. That happened after Three Penny Needle. I was working with a friend of mine, and we were working on the idea of doing some sort of Depeche Mode influenced stuff. And I guess it's just because it was on one of my cases in my studio. And then I thought it would be cool because my life is like a big, long adventure. So I was thinking of the Homer's Odyssey trilogy as sort of like a metaphor for the journey of my life.
I read that in high school.
Yeah, that was just the idea of a journey, like a journey and being a part of a journey. And also it was on the side of one of my road cases, because there's a brand of road cases called Odyssey, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like the adventure of life. And actually, when I was in Pinata with Meigs and everything, nobody knew my real name back then. It was just Odyssey. And I had been going by Odyssey on MySpace as well, with Odyssey and the New Revolution and A2 and the first Mona Lisa Overdrive pages on MySpace. So I'd been Odyssey already. And Meigs liked it, so I was Odyssey in Pinata, which never got released. But there's some, I guess you could say those are lost tracks, because I can tell you that the Pinata demos are really, really cool. They're very industrial. They have a very kind of like demo sound to them, though, like how they don't sound like full released albums. But the music that was completely 100% programmed and recorded by Meigs, and a little bit by the keyboard player, but it was all programmed. And there was only one song that was re-recorded of that with the whole band playing, and I actually probably have a copy of that as well. But I have the entire Pinata demos, which is very interesting because it's very heavy and interesting. And if a person likes Sins of a Divine Mother, they might like it because the lyrics are really cool. And that was where I kind of found out how I want to sing, because I tried all different types of singing on that.
Do you feel annoyed that your songs that's made for Shadow the Hedgehog is more popular than your other songs?
Oh, that Chosen One is more popular?
Yeah, do you feel annoyed by that?
Not really. I mean, it makes sense because the game has so many fans now. Right now, I'm using our new manager, Gemini, to help figure out a way to make a connection to funnel our Shadow fans into actually being fans of the band in general, so that when we release new songs, they don't have to be in a SEGA game for people to want to watch them or listen to them. So, I mean, that's our strategy to develop a way of, getting people to listen to the new music that we have coming out, along with the remade versions of the music that wasn't out, so that we could hopefully get some of those songs to get as many plays as Chosen One, because we have some really good badass songs, and when they're finished, it's going to be great.
They do. I've listened to Mona Lisa Overdrive's other stuff besides Chosen One. It's pretty good. I even uploaded some of them onto my channel because they weren't on YouTube yet. But
I think it's our fault for not having put any of that stuff on our YouTube channel and making lyric videos for them, because lyric videos are what people want.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're going to, just to kind of get some of the traffic, we're going to put all the demo versions up on our YouTube channel and do lyric videos for them. But then when they're actually released in their final version, we'll also put the final versions as well, just so instead of other pages getting all the traffic, that we're getting some of it, and we have a version that we actually put on our channel.
You got to put your songs on some Sonic fan games. I feel like people would want.
That might be. Yeah. So if a Sonic, wait, hold on. So there's people who make fan games of Sonic. So like not official games, but like their own games, and they could potentially reach out to you and ask you to do a song for it. I don't know. That's what he's suggesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, also we could take any of the ones that we have and put them on there too. The other thing is, our goal is to get on a partnership deal with one of these online distribution companies, where it's more than just like TuneCore or DistroKid, where we, instead of us just putting out our stuff ourselves, we partner up with them if they accept us for a deal, and then they can help us get more songs on soundtracks. So the company that we're looking at presenting to is called Symphonic, because they're known for getting songs on video games and on TV and film. Since our primary thing would be with Mona Lisa Overdrive would be more getting into the flow of just regularly doing video game soundtrack stuff and TV soundtrack stuff, more than being like a big touring band. Although we would play some live shows, but we do want to focus on video game, TV, and film.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, I'll ask a question. So, what was your favorite song to work on in Mona Lisa Overdrive and Sins of Divine Mother?
Well, my favorite song to work on, without a doubt, since I actually recorded the entire song myself with Mona Lisa with Sins of a Divine Mother. The other 3 songs that Colin and I produced for Sins of a Divine Mother, which were Broken, All of Me, and Complicate. But the one that I fully produced, fully engineered, and was involved with everything, because Wiley was never happy with the production that John Magnus did. He wanted just something much more powerful and big. Like, he wanted it to sound like a Korn record or something. He wanted
Korn, yes.
So when we did that song Tick, that was the one
favorite song.
Really produced.
That's a good song.
And that one,
that's my favorite one. Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah, the deepness and the depth of the guitar and the fatness of the kick and snare drum sound and everything at the time was modeled after Korn's new record, and that was what we were listening to.
Which one?
Well, it was the one where they spent a year researching, like Korn. It was, what year was that? Like 2003 or something. They had an album where Korn went out of their way to research like the conversion systems for the recording. They spent like a year researching the gear that they were going to record the album with, because Jonathan had become a recording engineer, and he got the top recording engineer, and they spent 6 months testing audio conversion systems, analyzing the sound quality with computers, and like going just crazy to make the ultimate heavy sounding rock record ever made. And it was that album that was that whole thing was going on, and it was being talked about on the internet, how they were researching recording techniques and everything. And so I was following that whole thing, and I just told Wiley, we should do what Korn's doing and just make it just sound like super hi-fi and fat and rich and thick. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. And so I just can't remember what record it was, but just the idea of this deep fatness and super wide 3D sounding thing. And so that's why that song sounds significantly different than the other ones, because I hand pasted every single sample. We took a month producing that song, and like every single sound was like hand pasted by me. Thousands and thousands of kicks and snares, and I mean, I spent 2 weeks just on the transition of the swooshing sound from the second chorus into the bridge. I spent 2 weeks on that. It's just sound. It sounds like almost like a wave of noise that comes over, and then it like sounds like it feels like a wave in the ocean just splashes down, and then it settles down into the middle section where it's all quiet. It took me 2 weeks to do that exactly the way Wiley wanted it to be done.
Wow.
So I don't think I've never spent that much time and that much detail on a single production in my life, and I probably never will. Yeah, I mean, from a recording standpoint, you could listen to that song 1,000 times on headphones, and you would never stop finding new things to wonder how that was done. Like from a recording engineer, like recording school standpoint, because there's so much going on in it. Like the whole middle section, like how we had like a reverse heartbeat sound going on in the background, and all the different layers of looped samples and stuff. All that was done at the time in a program called Acid, and I had a Windows PC synchronized to my Mac running Acid in tandem, and there was probably 24 tracks of loops just in that middle section running on Acid that I later bounced down and imported in to the mix on Digital Performer, which is what that one song was recorded on.
Amazing. What about Falling Out? That's
Falling Out. I did not record that one, but that was on the demos before Kyle and I joined the band. All that was done by John Magnus on a PC computer in the old version of Logic, that when it was eMagic before Apple bought Logic Pro. And that was all done on an old Windows computer with just John and Wiley.
Do you still have contact with John Magnus? Because he released the 20th anniversary album for Sins.
Yeah,
that was his son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his son did that.
I was going to say it's his son. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we have contact with them as far as like friendship and stuff. John Magnus lives in Las Vegas, and he plays in cover bands.
Would he come back to Mona Lisa?
Oh, if we could get a hold of Wiley, I mean, we'd love to do it. Yeah. I don't see anything happening, but Kyle and I would love to do some new music with those guys. It'd be great.